This is a story of Ulf and Siggie, twin children who live in the faraway country of Austria, in Europe. They've started school and were given their first homework assignment. They have to learn as much as they can about the United States of America. That's where you live.
Luckily, Ulf and Siggie know about the library, where they found a book about the United States of America.
So Ulf, check this out. It's a book that teaches you about all of the states in the United States. It teaches you about big important cities in each state called capitals.
I know, Siggie. I'm actually smarter than you think I am, and I can read.
Well, that's your opinion, and you're welcome to it. Anyway, the cool thing about this book is that there are friends in the book who will take us on a journey through different parts of the United States.
Yes, it's true. There's Willie, who lives in the West, and there's Susie, who lives in the South.
Yeah, and there's Normie from the North, and Mickey from the Midwest.
And finally, Ellie from the East.
Ulf and Siggie were so excited to learn about the United States that they decided to go to visit their American relatives, Auntie Ellen and Uncle Ken.
Ulf and Siggie traveled all the way across the Atlantic Ocean from Europe to the United States.
We are Auntie Ellen
And Uncle Ken.
and we're Ulf and Siggie's American hosts. We'll be taking care of Ulf and Siggie while they're here, as well as disciplining them when they need it.
So let's join Ulf and Siggie as they join their new friends from the book and learn all about the United States. Hi, Ulf. Hi, Siggie. Welcome to the United States.
Thank you.
So how can we help you?
Well, our teacher said that we have to write poems about the United States and each individual state.
That sounds like fun. We'll tell you all about the people and the towns.
Don't forget the crops, mountains, rivers, products, state birds, flowers.
And all sorts of interesting facts, and the coolest thing of all, we're going to introduce you to a friend of ours in each state, and that friend has the same name as the capital of that state. Like my friend Austin in Texas.
Or my friend Helena in Montana. I have a great idea for the first poem.
Yeah, what is it?
And here is Ulf's introductory poem. Exploring Ellie and Wandering Willie travel to places both warm and chilly. For Normie and Susie, there's water and sand, while meandering Mickey tours the heartland. The 5 boys and girls visit friends and mates named after the capital of each of the states.
All right. And how many states are in the United States?
There's 50.
Well, Ulf, pretty exciting stuff. We're heading into the southern United States. Time for some sun and warm weather. Maybe some cold lemonade or ice cream. Bring in the next cute boy tour guide.
Siggie, meet our next tour guide, Susie.
Huh? A girl? Hello.
And by the way, don't forget to bring that large bottle of SPF 50 sunblock with us.
Hi guys, welcome to the South. Looks like we should get started. There's a lot to see.
We're supposed to be learning all we can about the different regions of the United States. Anything cool you can tell us?
Sure. First of all, the southern states touch a lot of water. What I call southeastern states are Tennessee and Alabama, Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, and North Carolina. Now, the last 4 I mentioned, Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, and North Carolina, all border the Atlantic Ocean. Florida and Alabama also border the Gulf of Mexico, as do the states of Mississippi and Louisiana. Those 2 states, plus Arkansas and even the southeastern state of Tennessee, all border the Mississippi River and belong to the lower Mississippi Valley area.
We've heard of the northern and central plains states. Are Oklahoma and Texas in the southern plains? Do they also touch water?
You're right, Ulf. And yes, Texas is on the Gulf, and both states border the famous Red River. In fact, I think first I'm going to show you the southern plains and lower Mississippi Valley states.
I guess we need to learn stuff, but I also want to have some much deserved and much needed R&R.
I'll be telling you all about the South's important products, but we also have a lot of fun stuff to do, like awesome beaches. Now, I know I've gone over a lot quickly. Do you guys have any questions?
Yeah. Do you have a brother?
Well, Siggie, you do, and he has a poem.
Ulf's poem about the South. Susie takes a stroll around the Gulf of Mexico. There are many sights to see, so many friends to know. She starts off in the southern plains and travels toward the coast. She lays herself upon a beach, and happily she roasts.
Hey, pretty good poem.
Well, one thing's for sure, we are in the great state of Oklahoma. It's in the southern plains, and as I also mentioned, it's separated from Texas by the Red River.
Cool. I feel like we might bump into some cowboys or rustlers.
Hi guys, hi Susie, Ulf and Siggie, this is Miss Oklahoma. Well, Ulf, I'm not sure that you'll get to see too many rustlers or outlaws, hopefully, unless we go to the movies, but I think we'll bump into some cowboys. Of course, we raise lots of cattle and dairy cows. Plus, we've got lots of poultry here in Oklahoma as well. I think we're probably most famous for our crops, though, like wheat and cotton.
It's a really neat state. Hey, any American Indians?
Ulf,
Sure, we have many American Indians that live here. In fact, before we were a state, this was called Indian Territory. Now we call it the Sooner State. Since you like the Old West so much, Ulf, we should visit our state's highest point, Black Mesa. Hey, remind me why we call Oklahoma the Sooner State? Well, Susie, Sooners were what the early settlers of Oklahoma were called, since they were trying to get here sooner than everyone else to claim land. Among other cities and towns they founded are Tulsa, Stillwater, Ardmore, and of course, Oklahoma City.
Hey, what's that cool-looking bird?
Oh, that's our state bird, the scissor-tailed flycatcher.
pretty cool. I wish we had come to the state sooner.
Oh boy.
Anyway, here's my poem.
Siggie's poem about Oklahoma. Miss Oklahoma had taken a tour of Tulsa, Black Mesa, Stillwater, and Ardmore. She went further south to the river below, with cotton and wheat fields wherever she'd go.
Pretty good poem, Siggie.
What do you mean pretty good? It was excellent.
Alright, guys, can't we all just get along?
Okay. Hey, Susie, I see we've gone south over the Red River from Oklahoma. Are we where I think we are?
Yeah, Ulf, we're in Texas, the Lone Star State, the second biggest state in the whole country after Alaska. Hey, here's my friend Austin, named after Texas's capital city. Hi, Austin.
Hi, guys, heard you were coming. You must be Ulf and Siggie.
Cool lasso. So you're a cowboy? I see lots of cattle in Texas.
I sure am a cowboy. You know, the great city of Austin is right in the middle of Texas, but now I live in El Paso out to the west in Big Bend country. It's called that because it's right next to the Big Bend in the Rio Grande River, which is the border of Texas and Mexico.
So, south of Texas is Mexico. I'd like a burrito.
Yes, that's true, but only in the southwest. In the southeastern part of the state, we have the coast of the Gulf of Mexico, so Texas has beaches too. The famous city of Houston is in the Gulf Coast. In the middle of the state, we have lots of plains, prairies, and lakes.
I see that you grow lots of corn, wheat, and cotton. And is that a pecan tree?
That's right. The pecan tree is our state tree. And our state bird, by the way, is the mockingbird. Hey, you keep mentioning food. You really are hungry, aren't you, Siggie? Don't worry, there's lots of great food in Texas.
I heard that Texas also has lots of oil wells. Ka-ching!
Cool. Hey, after we eat, let's check out some oil wells, and then let's herd some cattle. But first, here's my poem all about Texas.
Ulf's poem about Texas. Austin's a cowboy from the heart of El Paso. He catches his cattle with a hemp-woven lasso. There are prairies and lakes with Houston near the coast. But the Big Bend country is what Austin loves most.
I must admit, Texas was a pretty good state to visit. Lots of things to see, and I enjoyed the Tex-Mex food.
Well, I hope you didn't fill up too much, Siggie. Now we're heading over to the next state, Louisiana, and they've got some good eating there too.
Oh yeah, like Cajun food, right?
We have all kinds of good food here in Louisiana. I was just heading down to New Orleans, which is the biggest city in our state, to go to one of my favorite fancy restaurants on Bourbon Street. They have a crawfish and rice dish that is to die for.
Wow, who are you?
Oh, Siggie, this is my good friend, Ms. Baton Rouge.
Hi.
Hello. Baton Rouge is kind of a funny name, don't you think?
It's French, don't you know? It also happens to be the name of the capital city of Louisiana. Besides, did I hear your name is Siggie?
It's short for Sigrun.
How very interesting.
Speaking of interesting, I think my brother is interested in you. Ulf, you can blink now.
Oh, yeah. So tell us some interesting things about Louisiana.
Well, I was telling you about the food that we're famous for. We also raise soybeans and poultry, cattle, and sugarcane. Our other important products include cotton, which is used to make one of my favorite things, clothes.
It looks like you also drill for oil in Louisiana.
And we have a very nice state tree called the bald cypress, and a very interesting state bird that lives on the coast of the Gulf of Mexico. It's the brown pelican. Look, there's one right now.
Wow, Louisiana sure is great. So that's why Louisiana is called the Pelican State.
Well, Ulf, since you love Louisiana so much, why don't you go for 2 poems in a row?
Ulf's poem about Louisiana. Beautiful Miss Baton Rouge lives down in New Orleans. Every year at Mardi Gras, she loves to watch the scenes. Crawfish, rice, and sugarcane are always such a treat. She sits and dines in restaurants alongside Bourbon Street.
Not bad, Ulf, but I bet the audience is ready for more input from me now. The next state on our southern tour is right up the Mississippi River from Louisiana, the state of Arkansas.
That's right, Siggie. And my friend Little Rock loves to take his boat up and down the Mississippi River and other side rivers that go into Arkansas. Maybe we'll see him.
Oh, so Little Rock is also the name of the capital of Arkansas.
You're just now figuring that out, Ulf?
Siggie, be nice.
All right, fine.
What I was going to ask was, why does he travel so much on the Mississippi River?
Ask him yourself. He's right here. Hi, Little Rock.
Hi, Susie. And hello, Ulf and Siggie. And to answer your question, Ulf, my family owns a cotton farm. And I travel all over Arkansas and other states to sell our cotton.
Really? Ka-ching!
But that's not the only reason I travel on my boat. After all, Arkansas is called the natural state. I like traveling around and just looking at Arkansas, our pretty towns like Pine Bluff, Hot Springs, and El Dorado, the farms that grow our important crops like rice and soybeans and of course cotton. We also have farms with livestock like hogs and poultry and cattle. And I'm always on the lookout for a loblolly pine, our state tree, and my favorite animal, a mockingbird. That's the Arkansas state bird. Well guys, it's great to meet you. I gotta go.
Wow, that makes me want to travel on a boat on the Mississippi.
Me too.
Ulf, you're not mocking me, are you? Haha. Anyway, here's my poem about Arkansas.
Siggie's poem about Arkansas. Little Rock picks his cotton fields. He works very hard and gets good yields. He sails on the river. What pleasure it brings. He sees El Dorado, Pine Bluff, and Hot Springs. Well, right across the Mississippi River from Arkansas and Louisiana is the next state on our tour, the state of Mississippi.
So you see, Ulf, there's a river and a state named Mississippi.
Yes, Siggie, I understand that.
Anyways, guys, this is my friend Jackson.
Hi, Jackson. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Mississippi. Hey, did you see my good buddy Little Rock on the river too? We sure did. Yeah, old Rock likes the river almost as much as I do. Completely different reason, though. He goes around selling his cotton. I just like to fish. It's a fun hobby and makes for some great meals, too.
What do you like to catch?
Everything, but especially catfish. A very famous and delicious meal in Mississippi, and my personal favorite, is fried catfish and beans along with some Mississippi rice.
Sounds good.
You guys raise lots of other food in Mississippi like soybeans and cattle and poultry.
That's right, Susie. And we sell lumber and cotton, just like my buddy at Little Rock. But unlike Arkansas, the state of Mississippi also touches the Gulf of Mexico, so I can sail in the Gulf of Mexico as well. I have friends that keep boats in places called marinas, down in the coastal towns of Gulfport and Biloxi. It sure is fun to fish on the ocean, almost as much as it is to fish on the Mississippi River. Hey, you guys want to come? Oh, sure, but first we have to know the name of your state bird and state tree for our project. No problem, Ulf. The state bird is the mockingbird. I'm sure you've heard that before, like some other states. And the state tree is the southern magnolia. Come on, guys, let's go.
But first, Ulf has to tell us about his poem about Mississippi. Did you write it yet, Ulf?
Hold on. Yes, I just finished it.
Ulf's poem about Mississippi.
In the great Mississippi, Jackson likes to fish. Catfish with beans is his all-time favorite dish. Biloxi and Gulfport are close to the sea, with countless marinas, great places to be.
Hey, are we moving back up the Mississippi River? Yes, we're heading up to Tennessee, the state of Tennessee. Memphis, Tennessee to be exact.
Is Memphis the capital of Tennessee?
No, actually the capital city is Nashville, but Memphis is right on the river. So we'll start our tour right there. We're gonna be meeting two of my friends this time, one named Nashville and one named Memphis. They're both aspiring to be country singers. The city of Nashville is famous for that.
Oh, great. The only thing that I find more annoying than one person thinking about her own fame is two people thinking about their fame. So arrogant.
Well, actually, I kind of agree.
Hey, Susie, do you think that this TV show about our trip to the United States will make us stars someday?
Oh boy.
Sure, Siggie. Anyway, look, it's Nashville and Memphis. Hi, y'all. Hi, Susie. Welcome back to the volunteer state. These must be your friends, Ulf and Siggie. We've heard so much about you. Sorry that we can't talk for too long. We're going on stage for a few minutes for our next set.
See, Ulf? So arrogant. So annoying.
Hey, Siggie. You look like you'd be great on stage. I bet you have a good singing voice. Would you like to join us?
And I bet Ulf plays a mean fiddle or banjo.
Oh, I'm sure. I've actually been told that I have a great ear. But Ulf plays no instruments and he can't sing. Don't worry, Ulf. Maybe you can write a song or something.
Well, I could write a song about Tennessee, but you guys first have to tell me some interesting facts about the state.
Well, the Mississippi River is the western border, and in the east we have the Smoky Mountains and the Cumberland Plateau.
And like other states, we raise lots of cattle, hogs, cotton, and soybeans. Like the state of Mississippi, our state bird is the mockingbird, but our state tree is the yellow poplar.
I have a great idea for song lyrics.
I thought I was doing it. Siggie's song about Tennessee. Nashville and Memphis were both born to sing. They dream of the fame that their music will bring. In the Great Smoky Mountains and Cumberland Plateau, they book many clubs and do show after show. So Siggie, do you think Nashville and Memphis will make it big someday?
Only if they make me the manager. And what's with all of these girl hosts in most of the states? Where are all of the cute boys?
Well, guys, now that we're in the next state, Alabama, I'm gonna introduce you to my friend Montgomery.
Sounds like it could be a boy.
Hi, Montgomery. Hi, Susie.
Darn, another girl.
Siggie, be nice.
Hi, guys. You must be Ulf and Siggie. Heard all about y'all. Hey, let's go clothing shopping up in Tuscaloosa. I've been working so hard on my daddy's peanut farm and I need a break. Alabama's famous for its peanuts. Yes, but it's also famous for its cotton, and cotton means clothes.
Hey Montgomery, what else is Alabama famous for?
Well, Ulf, like a lot of other states, we raise cattle and poultry, and we also grow soybeans and lots of trees for lumber.
You know, I learned some other stuff about Alabama. Like, your state bird is the yellowhammer, and your state tree is the longleaf pine.
I see you're trying to impress Montgomery. What, do you like her or something?
Well, yes, kind of. I do like her accent. But we're going to have to be getting back to Austria sometime, and besides, you know I have a severe peanut allergy, Siggie.
In Tuscaloosa, Montgomery shops to escape all that work on the peanut crops. Alabama cotton makes really fine shirts and other apparel like blouses and skirts. Nice poem, Siggie. Now we're going to head down to the next state, Florida. I say down because the panhandle region of Florida is to the south of Alabama. And just like parts of Texas and Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama, the panhandle and western Florida make up the Gulf Coast. But the eastern part of Florida borders the Atlantic Ocean.
So who is our host in Florida? A cute boy or arrogant girl?
Neither. It's my grandma and grandpa Tallahassee. So y'all please be nice, especially you, Siggie.
What do you mean especially? Fine. Here they are.
Hello, Grandma and Grandpa Tallahassee.
Well, aren't you all just the cutest friends of Susie's? Welcome to Tampa Bay, Florida. Here, have some homemade sugar cookies. You know we grow our own sugar cane here in Florida. It's the Sunshine State. We also grow lots of other great stuff, like tomatoes and citrus. Here, have some oranges.
Thanks. Wow, Grandma Tallahassee, you sure do know a lot about Florida.
Oh, Grandpa knows even more than me. Tell me about your recent trip around Florida, Grandpa.
Why, sure. Well, let's see. I traveled down to southern Florida, where some parts are really swampy. I visited gigantic Lake Okeechobee and went down to the famous Everglades. On the way, I saw lots of cattle and one of our state birds, the mockingbird, and some cabbage palmettos. That's our state tree. Not to mention lots and lots of palm trees.
Wow, Florida is great. Thanks for the goodies, Grandma and Grandpa Tallahassee. We'd like to do something for you now. A poem about Florida. Ulf, the poem.
Oh, yes. Here you go.
Ulf's poem about Florida. Grandma Tallahassee lives in Tampa Bay, where the sun shines oh so brightly day after day. Grandpa likes to travel across the swampy land, past Lake Okeechobee, toward the ocean and the sand.
I'm sure going to miss Susie's grandparents in Florida.
Yeah, but they said that we can visit anytime we want to.
Well, guys, we're heading back up north to the state of Georgia. My friend Atlanta lives there, and I'm sure she's also got some cool stuff to show you, just like Grandma and Grandpa Tallahassee. Georgia's called the Peach State, so guess what we're going to eat a lot of?
Peaches.
And guess what Georgia's state tree is?
The peach tree.
Actually, it's a live oak. Sorry.
Nice job, Ulf.
But Siggie, you also...
Siggie.
So this must be the famous Atlanta. My name is Siggie, and this is my wonderful brother Ulf.
Welcome to Georgia, guys. I've heard you talking about peaches, but we're also famous for peanuts. Anybody want some?
Sure.
Well, I'm allergic, but thanks anyway.
So where are you heading, Atlanta? Well, I was visiting my parents up in Augusta. They have a farm nearby with cattle and poultry and hogs. Now I'm heading to Savannah near the Atlantic coast, and I'm planning on hitting the beach. You still want to come?
Yes, that'd be great. But do you have any sunscreen?
We're here, but first we have to finish our report about Georgia. Atlanta, what is the state bird of Georgia?
The brown thrasher.
Okay, the report's ready, and here's the poem.
Action.
Siggie's poem about Georgia. Atlanta grabs some peanuts and eats them one by one. She throws away the shells as soon as she is done. She travels to Augusta to buy some juicy peaches, then heads down towards Savannah to swim on Georgia's beaches. I liked your poem, Siggie. Now let's head north up the Atlantic coast to the next state, South Carolina.
Do they have peaches in South Carolina, just like in Georgia?
They sure do. And they have a tree called the cabbage palmetto. And yes, South Carolina is called the palmetto state. But I'll let my good pal Columbia tell you more about South Carolina. Besides being named after South Carolina's capital city, she's also a runner and fitness trainer, so we'll have to try to keep up. Okay, here she is. Hi, Columbia.
Hi, Susie. Jog with me. You're friends too.
Okay, Columbia. These are Ulf and Siggie from Austria. They want to find out all about South Carolina.
Great. I'll tell you all about it. We've got some great towns like Rock Hill and Greenville, but my favorite is Charleston, right on the Atlantic Ocean. Lots of cool sights to see and beaches and really beautiful cobblestone streets. And speaking of beaches, we've also got Myrtle Beach. What kind of crops do you guys have here? We have to know for our class project. Well, we grow lots of soybeans and cotton, like many of the other states you guys have seen, and we raise cattle and hogs, and hey, where did those guys go?
They fell behind a little.
Wait up! Sorry guys, glad you could catch up. I was just about to tell you about our state bird, the Great Carolina Wren.
Should have been called the Great Carolina Run.
Good one, Siggie. Now if someone could just get me some water and maybe an oxygen tank, I'll share my South Carolina poem.
Ulf's poem about South Carolina. Through South Carolina, Columbia would run. In Greenville and Rock Hill, she'd have lots of fun. She'd dance along some cobblestone in Charleston on the way. Then she'd go to Myrtle Beach, and on the sand she'd lay.
So what state are we in now, Susie?
North Carolina, the last of the southeast states and the final state in our southern tour. Even though North Carolina is usually called the southern state, one of its nicknames is the Old North State.
Maybe it's because it's north of South Carolina.
Good one, Ulf.
Siggie. Guys, be good. Anyway, who's your friend in North Carolina?
Well, she's a very nice lady. She's a scientist that works in the Research Triangle. That's what people call the nearby three towns of Chapel Hill and Durham and Raleigh. Raleigh's in North Carolina's capital. They're famous for their universities and their research. So what does Ms. Raleigh, Dr. Raleigh study?
And why do you seem a little nervous, Susie?
Well, like I said, she's a nice lady, but she studies some kind of weird... hi, Dr. Raleigh. These are my friends Ulf and Siggie that I told you about. They were hoping that you'd explain your research.
Well, I'm a biologist, studying new and alternative life forms and their effects on the North Carolina coast. Excuse me, Dr. Raleigh, but what was that scratching sound coming from that cage over there?
And what is that heavy breathing behind me?
Wait, that wasn't you, Siggie? No need to worry. My creations have a 98.5% safety record. And besides, I keep them all chained and caged until their release.
Release?
Well, last week I set them free in some very interesting islands off the North Carolina coast called the Outer Banks. This week, I'm heading down to Cape Fear.
Good name. Why don't we talk about some other interesting facts about North Carolina?
Yes, like what kind of crops and livestock do you have? And what's your state bird and state tree?
Actually, I just looked all that up on my new iPad. North Carolina has cattle, hogs, poultry, and soybeans. The state bird is the cardinal, and the state tree is the pine. Now I think we better go.
Yes, goodbye, Susie, and goodbye, Dr. Raleigh.
Siggie's poem about North Carolina. In the Research Triangle, Dr. Raleigh worked. Behind her lab bench, strange creations lurked. She'd hold them for a while in cages and in tanks. Then she'd set them free along the Outer Banks.
Well, looks like we're out of time for today.
See you guys next time.